Welcome to Uncaged. Today we're speaking with Alison Thurber. I am excited to talk to you because I am really interested in engineering and manufacturing, primarily, I guess, because I've had a career where I've done a lot of media, and I just find it amazing when I talk to people that actually make things. But Alison is the Executive Vice President of Intelligent Industry at Capgemini Invent. Capgemini probably really needs no introduction. I'll let Alison kind of outline the details of what the team are very, very focused on these days. But before we get there, Alison, tell us a little bit about you and your career.
Quite simply, I'm an engineer at heart, so get ready. We're going to talk about a lot of engineering stuff.
Awesome.
And I have been since I was a child. I was the kid that took apart the toaster, quite literally. Anything that broke in the house, I was taking it apart, wanting to figure out how it works, how to put it back together. And really, that taking things apart and putting them back together is a great thread for my career and my life, actually. So I love to know how things work, why they were built, how they were meant to work, how to fix them. And that can be physical objects, machines, cars, consumer electronics, or it can be people or teams, businesses, cities even. And so no surprise, I started my career as an electrical engineer. And for a long time, that's what I did. I was practicing double E, we call ourselves. And specifically, I focused on RF. So things like radar, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, cellular, honestly, everything connected that you all interact with every day. And I've worked across every industry. I started my career in government contracting and defense. No surprise, I was in the DC area at the time. And so those are the sorts of things that are right for the picking as an engineer. And then I got this taste of consulting, and I got to work across a myriad of clients, solving all kinds of challenges and doing it in every industry you can imagine. And so I think I've built connected products of every shape, size, incarnation you can imagine. And it was in consulting that I realized just how much I loved leading and building teams. And not just any team, right? The teams that are driving impact in the world. And so it took a little detour. I left consulting for a little while to follow that impact and joined Lyft, where I got to have the pleasure of helping them engineer electric bikes and scooters. And during COVID in particular, that was a pretty impactful feeling, right? To get people safely to their jobs every day.
I love those. And that was very much part of my life, getting around. I'm not a big automotive person, but I am a big electric bike and scooter person. So I probably utilize your products quite often. And what amazing experience that you can get from working at a place like Lyft, and certainly the range of projects, although I imagine if you've worked on Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, you might get many calls from your relatives that might be annoying, trying to help on family connective issues. But apart from that, Capgemini Invent, what are you guys doing in this space? And tell me more about this category of intelligent industry.
Yeah, it's really, the name says it all, right? We are trying to help businesses tackle industrial challenges and make them intelligent, right? Whether that's modernizing your supply chain, modernizing manufacturing, or helping you tackle the most recent trends. And there's a couple, I'm sure, that come to mind right now, especially Gen AI. And what are we going to do as a business? How do we transform ourselves to take hold, to grasp onto this new technology and make it a part of our DNA? And right now, one of the things I'm really excited about is we just launched a new offer that is called Connected World. And so given my background, this is certainly something I'm very passionate about. And honestly, all of the pieces already existed within Capgemini for this. This is not something wholly new. What it is instead is that we're saying we're taking it end to end as a thing that we know we can offer our clients. So we take the best of all of the parts of Capgemini, Frog Design, where they do incredible transformation and really, really beautiful design work.
Yeah.
Then with Synapse on the hardware side, if you've never heard of them, absolutely world-class engineering team on the West Coast, and they are incredibly talented hardware engineers, and they even do new product introduction NPI. And so they can help bring the story from concept all the way to production for hardware goods. And then with the team that is more classically Invent on business transformation, like how do we figure out how to transform your business around connected products? And how do we bring it all together and drive real value? And so that's the thing for me that's really exciting right now that we're doing.
Well, I love that. I'm very familiar with Frog Design and the idea of having that connective tissue from kind of the ideation process all the way through. What a great solution that you guys are putting together there. And, I think that the interesting thing is that with groups like Capgemini Invent and what you're doing is that you're right on the coalface. You're having the conversations. You're the trusted partner with all of these customers that are facing all these interesting engineering and manufacturing challenges and seeing some of the opportunities. What is top of mind for these folks right now?
Well, I think I already touched on one of them,
Yeah.
which is Gen AI. And just how to transform, how to embrace that, and not fall into any of the pitfalls, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sustainability is the other really big thing right now for our clients. I'm really glad to see the greenwashing thing has kind of gone to the wayside, and we're talking about real change, and how to embrace that. And this really, for me, a really impactful, again, back to the things that I love, is really impactful things we can do for business right now.
Yeah, and I was curious because there was a lot of focus on the changes to the supply chain logistics in general during COVID. There was obviously kind of the immediate concern that, oh, well, we have built a global supply chain network that was far too dependent on certain markets like China for certain aspects of the supply chain. And the thought was that we were reconfiguring everything. Are you feeling that that is starting to take hold? What does that look like right now?
I would say yes. I mean, the reality is that resiliency in your supply chain is critical to business at this point. I think that's no surprise to anyone. And COVID, you're right, really highlighted big gaps for a lot of folks. And so when you have a big impactful thing, a global thing like COVID, you're really faced with reality. And I think we've seen a lot more of our clients look at this as, okay, and so we had this, and now I really do want to digitally transform and figure out how to do warehouse management for the future, and figure out how to leverage all these wonderful tools that are out there and open the next chapter.
Yeah, I think that is great to hear. I certainly think we were all kind of stunned at how hard it was to suddenly get things done and made, and hoping it really highlighted the fact that we'd taken so much for granted for so long, and the need to kind of rethink how things were manufactured. And it's exciting to see that be rebuilt. But, Alison, you touched on the fact that you were the child that really likes to know how things work. I know you. I remember you when I was a child. I remember those kids that were always asking, but how does this work? Why does this work this way? Tell me a good example of that when you were young and really kind of defined you.
Oh man. I mean, I did literally take apart the toaster. But I actually think there's not one defining moment, because this is a constant thing, right? It was anytime anything in the house broke, I wanted to take it apart. And so it's like I had my own set. And then at the time, Legos and erector sets and the ability to like build things that moved were very popular. And so I was doing all of that.
Yeah.
And my favorite book was The Way Things Work. It had these mammoths, that woolly mammoths, I think, that explained to you how things work. And that was my encyclopedia.
Oh
right?
my God.
And so it would be, I'd go to an elevator and be like, oh, and this is the, pulley that helps the, so I very, very much just defining. I probably drove my parents crazy, I'm sure.
Well, I mean,
wives.
it sounds like you're pretty good at what you do. So I imagine at first they might have been like, oh, Allison is taking apart the toaster again. But now they're, I imagine, very impressed. So Allison, I mean, we live in interesting times. Things continue to evolve very, very quickly. When you look forward, I'd say over the next couple of years, what are you excited about? What's on the horizon?
Well, I'm definitely excited for all of these sustainability initiatives. I want to see us pull those through into something very tangible more broadly. And the other one for me is really to see where Gen AI goes in the next couple of years. I think we'll see that this is not just a fad, it's a change in the way we work. And I'm excited to see how we adapt to that change. And it's, I think a lot of times the change, people are worried about, oh, well, will I have a job, or these sorts of existential crises. And I see it more as not less jobs, just different jobs. And so I'm curious to see what that transformation looks like, both for people and for business.
Yeah, I agree. I do think it will just change the nature of work. And certainly, I think it will open up more opportunities. There really is a sustainable issue, though, here with all of this AI. And that's the thing that I think that people are perhaps not thinking fully about yet. We're still in the, oh my God, this is interesting phase, to how much energy this actually costs to do at scale. And it'll be interesting to see how we do that, but very, very promising for sure. Allison, if someone wanted to learn more about what you and the Capgemini Invent team, intelligent industry team, are working on, where's the best place to find you?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn, but as far as Capgemini, go to our website. We have a ton of details about the stuff we're working on. And then if you want to think about Connected World some more, go look at Frog's website. We have a great page there, and you can get in contact with us. We do monitor that email inbox. And so if you're interested in Connected World, connect through Frog's website.
Really great stuff. Well, Allison, thank you so much for being on UNCAGED today. We've been speaking with Alison Thurber. She is the Executive Vice President of Intelligent Industry at Capgemini Invent. And we've been talking about her journey from a child where she was taking apart toasters all the way through to today, which is working with major companies on how they're rethinking industry and implementing engineering, manufacturing solutions that are future-proof. We've been talking about Capgemini Invent solution of Connected World, really offering holistic solutions in that space. And I'm very excited about what's coming down the pike in the future. Alison, thank you so much for being on the UNCAGED Show, and we look forward to having you back.
Thanks, Brian.
Cheers.